A very good morning to you. Welcome. Good to see you again. Well, my thought for the day is centered on a parable about prayer. Luke 18, verses 1 to 8. It's the story of the widow who went to the unjust judge, the judge that didn't fear God and didn't regard men. And this widow who went to him, and she kept saying to him, "Vindicate me against my adversary." And he wouldn't help her, but eventually, because she pestered him, because she bothered him, he vindicated her. And the Lord said, that's the Lord Jesus said, "Hear what the unjust judge says, and will not God vindicate his elect who cry to him day and night? Will he delay long over them? I tell you, he will vindicate them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" Now that last phrase seems very strange. What a strange thing to say at the end of this little parable. And I've been thinking about this parable quite a lot this week, because it was part of our meeting on Sunday. And I found myself focusing on what the woman asked for. She asked the judge to vindicate her against her adversary. She didn't ask him to make her neighbour settle his goods on her, or to sort out her living accommodation, or to set right some civil dispute. It was about her adversary. Vindicate me. Defend me. Speak in favour of me against my adversary. And I found myself focusing on the word adversary. My accuser, my adversary, the one who is against me. And this is, for the Christian, the enemy, the devil. He is our accuser. He is our enemy. He is our adversary. And we are told to resist him. And having been told to resist him, it's interesting, in the pattern of prayer that Jesus gave us, there are phrases in there that say, "Lead me not into temptation, and deliver us from evil," or from the evil one. And this, I think, is part of what an application of this parable. That there may be times when things are really, really difficult for us, and the enemy is pressing in on every side. That when we go to God and we say, I'm trying to resist him, I'm trying to throw him off, I'm trying to enact the victory that you have won, but he won't leave me alone. Rule in my defence. That God will step in and help us. He doesn't abandon us to the enemy. And I've never heard it thought of in that way. I've always heard it thought of in general prayer terms. You know, if you're praying for something and you don't see the answer, to keep being persistent. But I think this was a very specific request that this woman made of the judge. She asked just this one thing: vindicate me against my adversary. And I think when Jesus says at the end of it, "Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" I think what his comment there means, that in the Christian faith, in our walk with the Lord, he has given us everything that we need to overcome the enemy. But sometimes we just can't seem to do it. Just like the disciples, that one time when Jesus was up on the mountain in the Transfiguration, and he came down and there was a father with a son who was tormented, and they couldn't set that son free. And Jesus was disappointed in their lack of faith. There will be times, I think there will be times when we just don't have, we just aren't able to win the battle. And we need that extra bit of help from the Lord. And he says here, will not God vindicate his elect who cry to him day and night. I think the Lord knew there would be very difficult times ahead for many of his disciples, many of his followers, when their faith and when their ability to resist the enemy would be tried very hard, tested very hard. And he told this story to encourage us that even when it seemed as if there would be no help, there would be help, because God is not like the unjust judge. God hears and answers our prayers. And when we say to him, keep me from temptation, keep us from temptation, deliver us from evil, he will do just that. Just like this judge ruled on behalf of this woman and sorted it out for her, God will sort out those things that we find we can't actually deal with ourselves. That's my thought for the day. I hope it blesses you, and I hope you have a really good day. Be blessed, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.